Hi, my name is Mimi Jung with King 5 News, and I want to welcome you to this year's virtual Providence Hospice of Seattle Luncheon. I'm honored to once again be a part of helping to make a difference in a child's life. By being here today, you are supporting the very special programs that Providence Hospice provides for terminally ill and grieving kids. These include Stepping Stones, a hospice and palliative care program for children. It's the only one of its kind in our community. Safe Crossings, a grief support program for kids who are struggling with the death of a parent, sibling, or someone close to them. And Camp Aaron King County, an overnight weekend grief camp for kids who have lost someone they love. We can only offer these programs to kids in need because of donors like you. You are so important. Today, you're going to hear from two families. Their lives were changed because of generous donors like you and the programs you're here today to support. In the story you're about to see, you'll meet Macklin. After his heartbreaking diagnosis, Providence Hospice carried his family through one of the most difficult times in their lives. Without donors like you, that wouldn't have been possible.
He was just happy and content all the time. He used to sit up and play and laugh, and he had the most contagious laugh. It was just amazing. Anytime Macklin was laughing, everybody in the room was laughing. And he would stare at you, he would look deep into your eyes and decide whether you were worthy of one of his winning smiles. Yeah. When I was pregnant with Macklin, totally normal pregnancy. They did say that they thought he was going to be a really big baby. He arrived 3 weeks early and was still bigger than his brother, who was closer to full term. But everything progressed fine. There were no concerns. But he wasn't hitting milestones like Finley had. And you think, well, every child is different. No one had any concerns. And then it wasn't until he went to his 9-month checkup, well-child visit, that the doctor used the term developmentally delayed. Just so happened that about a week later we had an appointment with an ophthalmologist, and they did an eye exam, and she said there's an abnormality in both of his eyes, and I think it's worth taking a closer look at. Macklin was diagnosed when he was 10.5 months. Tay-Sachs is a neurodegenerative genetic condition. So a child who started out typical functioning and developing starts to regress. And so where he used to sit up and play with toys, he started falling over, and pretty soon he couldn't sit up anymore, unsupported.
Can I have his arm? Thank you.
We give him all of his fluids and food and medicines through that. The typical lifespan is 3 to 5 years. At this point, it's progressed enough that he's not able to see or hear. He has very little voluntary movement. With Macklin's diagnosis, they don't give you a lot of hope, the doctors, because no one's ever survived. And there's no treatment and there's no cure. We decided early on that our main goal was to keep him comfortable.
My role in Macklin's life is really to just walk with the family through their journey.
We first learned about Stepping Stones from a friend of ours who was a hospice nurse, but inpatient at Children's. It was just a few weeks after we'd gotten the diagnosis, and she said, "You need to call Stepping Stones." And he did like a couple very subtle little drops at the beginning. We've been working with Lauren for about 2 years now, and she's been great. I talk to her on the phone whenever something comes up. We email about questions. I know that I can always reach out to her. And we backed off the Keppra because we had the EEG last Tuesday.
I come in as a nurse, and I definitely do a lot of symptom management. So as he changes, we really sit down and focus on what family's goals are for him, which with Macklin, it is really keeping him comfortable and giving him the best quality of life possible.
We're doing a lot of suctioning now. Normally we've just been using a little cloth to wipe his mouth, but he's spitting a lot more out because when he's doing those drops, he's not swallowing. It's been helpful to have that consistency over the last couple of years, knowing that Lauren can tell when something's a little off with him or when something has changed in him. That's been really helpful.
Out of all the places I've worked, this is the job that's brought me back to compassionate nursing. You get to connect with people that are hurting, that are going through something hard, and who really need that.
I would be struggling without stepping stones. We'd probably be in and out of the hospital a lot more, back and forth to Seattle Children's. Macklin doesn't like being in the car, so being able to have someone come to us is incredible. When Safe Crossings comes here, it's great because it's easy. I don't think Finley knows who she is or why she's here necessarily. It's just somebody coming to see him, and it's going to be all about him for that hour. She just meets Finley where he is. If he wants to play, she'll play games with him, and she just kind of works in the emotional words and meanings and all of that into whatever they're playing that day. Stepping Stones and Safe Crossings provides an invaluable service. It would be very different and very difficult to walk this journey without their support.
My hopes for Macklin and this family would be that they can fully enjoy the life that he has left, that he can live it out and be comfortable, that family can enjoy special moments together, and that they just feel supported along the way, not alone.
We need to support Stepping Stones so that everyone can receive their services.
I think hope feels like a space to breathe. It feels like they're not carrying this burden on their own.
We don't know what's going to happen at the end. Stepping Stones definitely gives us comfort and the hope that we can have him pass peacefully at home.
Hello, my name is Sunny Regalapati, and I'm on the Providence Hospice of Seattle Foundation Board of Directors, and I'm honored to be here with you today. Your support keeps these services available for terminally ill kids and their families in our community. So please take a minute and click the donate button. You'll find it on the lower part of this page on your screen, and you can give your gift right now. Even better, if you donate $400 or more, your gift will be matched by a champion sponsor and donor. Thank you so much. I'd like to take a minute to thank the sponsors of today's events for their outstanding support. First, I'd like to thank the Bedside Trust and the DeVink Family Fund, our Platinum Champion sponsors, for their leadership. Thank you also to our Champion a Child sponsor, our Gold sponsors, our Silver sponsors, and all of our individual sponsors listed up on the screen, as well as our many other wonderful sponsors. They are ensuring that all of the gifts that you make today will go directly to helping terminally ill and grieving kids in our community. With the support of donors like you, we can continue our mission to help seriously ill and grieving children. Your generous donations will bring peace and comfort to the families we serve. Thank you. Our next story will show you how specialized grief support helped a family cope with the death of their dad. You'll see what an incredible difference your donations can make.
He would always take us fishing. He was always at all of our soccer games.
He was always there to do something, and whether that was taking me to the park to play baseball, taking me on a weekend fishing trip, going out front to play with the football.
He loved to get out on the water, and one thing the kids and I remember too, It wasn't just the fishing, it was his attitude of thinking about it, preparing for it, like enjoying it even before it happened. Randy was just 42 when he was initially diagnosed with multiple myeloma. It is a blood cancer, similar in the family of leukemia or lymphoma. Initially, when Randy was diagnosed, the time frame that we were given as far as life expectancy was 3 years, which was just devastating because the kids were so young and we all had so much living to do.
Happy Memorial Day.
Where are you going, Kate?
Show Mom how you make a basket.
He didn't know how long he had, but he knew that he wouldn't give up.
He never complained, even when, he was super sick and probably had every right to be complaining. He was always had a good attitude and really kind of set an example for us that life can get tough, but it's all about your perspective.
After he had had the stem cell transplant and it failed a few months later, Seattle Cancer Care said no, he wasn't a candidate to repeat the transplant again. That's when we realized that it was approaching the end of the journey. Found out about these Safe Crossings program through the children's high school counselor, reached out to them and was able to get help really quickly, phone conversations, and then a social worker came to the home on several occasions to work with me and the kids, and then with Randy and the kids, and just bridge that crazy difficult time.
I had kind of picked up on the sense that this time around was a little bit different and that my dad was a lot sicker than he had been.
He was really breaking down. I mean, you could tell by his hair, his skin, his eyes. He had a recliner chair in the living room, and I just remember going out there and giving him a kiss on the head saying, "I love you, buddy. Good luck at your treatment." And he said, "I love you too."
He never really said goodbye, so to speak, to the kids. He just showed them every day in his actions that he was going to keep fighting, he was going to keep pushing, and he was going to be there for them for as long as he could. He was taken over to University of Washington Hospital from the Seattle Cancer Care Infusion Center, and he spent the last few hours of his life there. And in some ways, even though it was very quick that day, I think it was easier. Sorry.
We were all, by his side, and I had that moment of knowing that he heard me and he heard us and that we were there.
Love you, Daddy.
The whole wide world.
Love you, Daddy.
I love you too, Daddy. Mwah.
Get Maggie in there.
Come here, Magalicious.
Hi, baby. Come here.
Over the next few weeks after Randy's death, we were working with the social worker, and she told us about Camp Aaron. It was, a terrible, difficult time in their life, and I think they were just worried. But when they got there, it was so nice because they were with other kids in the same boat and they could just feel more comfortable. It was a wonderful, wonderful gift.
Camp allowed me to become more comfortable with talking about my dad and sharing those details about his death, but mostly about who he was.
Completely, I have that sense that I wasn't alone.
I think Camp Aaron also kind of taught us that it's okay to ask for help or ask for what you need, and knowing that there are resources and people out there who can help you.
It just felt like a weight was lifted off their shoulder.
We were talking about this Christmas one.
Oh, I missed that.
Look at the mustache.
Look at Mom, look how young she is.
I know.
So both of my kids are going to be joining as counselors at Camp Erin this year.
I've just always been, wanting to pay it forward to the kiddos, but I just want to give them support and, especially because I've been through the same thing and it's not easy. I'm just super excited to just reach out my hand to give help.
These programs are incredibly important because people are at such a challenging time in their life. To be able to reach out and get the help we needed and not have to worry about, how am I going to pay for this? How is this going to add another bill and another stressor? It was life-changing for us.
As you can see, these programs change lives. My family has personally been impacted by the care of Providence Hospice. When my dad's battle with cancer was coming to an end, we chose Providence Hospice of Seattle for his end-of-life care. Not only did Providence Hospice help my dad die with dignity, the team of compassionate staff helped support those who were caring for him. Hospice care and other programs that we highlighted today can only continue, though, with your help. Right below this video on your screen, you're going to see a donate button. Please click it to make your donation. And here's a great opportunity to make an even bigger difference. If you donate $400 or more, it will be matched by our Champion a Child sponsors and donors. So that means your gift will go twice as far in helping children and families in need. You heard me right. Your gift of $400 or more will be doubled thanks to our Champion a Child sponsors. What a wonderful opportunity to double your impact. Thank you so much for your gift, and thank you for attending today's virtual luncheon. We appreciate you for being here to help raise much needed funds for these extremely important programs and helping terminally ill and grieving children in our community. For Providence Hospice of Seattle, I'm Mimi Jung. We hope to see you all next year.